Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Star Wars.
What happened? Are you all right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I like Star Wars.
I'm Dan, and I despise Star Wars. And this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Sometimes it just hits me that we're doing this on this show.
We're doing this on the show. It's Forced Fridays, Brand.
I know.
We've done a bunch of them.
I know.
This isn't the first one.
I know, but it
This
doesn't
is the
mean
ninth
that you,
time we're doing it.
Ninth time.
Yeah, but it still hits you.
It still hits you.
It still hits.
We're
you know
just
what
happy
I mean?
you're happy.
I'm
And
happy.
I think we're going to all agree that it's all downhill from here. I think we agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh.
No. Listen, you're not going to be able to read my face or my tone of voice
Okay.
one way or another. Bubba.
Okay.
Like, just,
All right. I mean, we're talking Rise of Skywalker and Solo here. So I'm just like, all right.
Get pre-show chatter out of the way, and then
Yeah.
you'll find out.
All right.
Ryan, how are you?
I've been having a lot of dreams about Blockbuster. What does that mean?
Dude, that's good. That's a good sign.
Well,
Blockbuster's in great shape right now.
Yeah, it means buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you, like buy just current things or specifically buy VHS
buy
tapes?
the
Both
stock.
of them.
VHS tapes.
Buy the
eBay
Blockbuster
VHS
stock
tapes.
ASAP.
I've been like having this premonition, Rye Guy, that we're gonna do Mission Mondays with you, and we're gonna cover all the Mission Impossible movies. But somehow, I think you're gonna be here. I think you're gonna be here in person
Every week.
Is that crazy that you come down here for 9 straight weeks or 8 straight weeks? Is that crazy?
It's probably a long shot, but I mean, who am I to tell you how to feel?
That's right.
So
It's called a
I'm not
dream
gonna
for a
rule
But
it
reason.
out.
also, I bet you could save time and be more efficient if, for every 3 or 4 of them, you wear the same exact outfit. You know what I mean? Like you
Well,
wear the
I mean,
same
if I'm
How does
thing.
that
make-
help though? If they're removed by a
I'm
week?
just saying it would speed it up.
If I'm gonna make the trip, or multiple trips, you just want to travel light.
You
I
wanna
feel
travel
like,
light.
right? Even
Yeah.
if you have a week in between to do laundry, you would still
You
want
would
to
still
travel.
wanna travel
You want
light.
to travel identical, honestly.
You want to travel
Yeah.
identical.
Then why
Yeah.
not travel identical for all of them?
You don't get it. You don't understand.
No,
you got to freshen it up every
yeah.
now and then.
Yeah. You just go back to
when
thinking
do
about
you
how nice it is we're talking
decide?
about
When
Star
do you
Wars.
when do you
No.
decide that it's time to freshen it up
I'm
a
just
little
saying
bit?
it seems crazy, but I feel like you're going to be here.
Well, it's
That's all
a-
I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a
I
dream.
mean, listen, I'm not here to squash dreams.
You're going to be with us all summer. It's going to be awesome.
Well, listen,
It's gonna
Dan,
be
listen,
awesome.
Dan,
From
Dan,
Memorial
Dan,
Day through July 4th. He's going to be here all
Dan.
summer.
Dan, I'm always going to be with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but, and in the literal sense, who knows?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that was a weird thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, especially
But
if
yeah,
it's-
Blockbuster's on my mind.
Blockbuster.
And
What
hey,
are
if
the
we were
dreams?
together
What are the
if we
dreams?
were together- well, it's the one specifically. I woke up thinking my Blockbuster. Like, Dan, did you have a Blockbuster?
yeah, of course I had a
Like,
Blockbuster.
do you remember the layout? Because
I remember the
specifically
layout of the
remember
Blockbuster.
Every
Absolutely.
nook and cranny of my Blockbuster. And
For
I was like
sure.
vividly in my Blockbuster. And then I woke up, and then I was like, I kid you not, I woke up from this dream, and I said, I might go to Greenville 9 straight weeks this summer. I mean, so it was a trip and a half. Yeah.
That's what's happening. We should pool the money together to fly out to the last one that still exists.
You know, I just saw the sweetest story. I believe it was on CBS Morning News, and I don't need to get into. If you guys are going to mock the sweet story, then I'm not going to talk about it.
You watch a lot of CBS Morning News?
I saw a clip.
You saw a sweet story.
I saw this.
You tune into CBS Morning News for the sweet stories.
Do you want to hear the sweet story?
Sure,
Yeah, I
And
would
then,
love
you
to.
can, and then you can
Absolutely.
feel bad about what
Hit
you're
me.
doing right now and how
Okay.
you're mocking the sweet stories of the CBS News. I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna
No,
leave
you have
one-
to
no,
do it.
Nope, I'm going to leave you wondering.
You can't
Please.
introduce a knife in the first
Brand
act and not use it by
let
the
it go
third.
off in the third
Yeah.
act.
Watch
Yeah.
me. Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
No, what's a sweet
I
story?
can't tell you.
This is a mistake.
This is
Brad.
unbelievable.
Shrine
This is
Auditorium on
unbelievable.
December 9th.
This is like saying Candyman 3 times. you
United
don't want to do
States,
this.
December. Okay, so there was a small town, and they had it was the last. It wasn't a Blockbuster, but it was a movie rental store.
Family video, if you will.
Family Video. And this mom would bring in her daughter who had Down syndrome every single day because they had it was like 6 movies that she wanted to rent every day. And they bought the movies. It wasn't good. She wants to go to her Blockbuster as part of her routine. or whatever it is. And so the time finally came within the past year
For them to close
it down. And so he took the movies that she liked and moved it to his gas station that he has. And it's a corner of the store
That's awesome.
that is just for her to rent her movies.
It's a very sweet story.
It's a
Brandon.
very sweet story. And you guys didn't want it.
No,
Well, that's a mischaracterization of what Dan and I were
I
doing.
ridiculed the intro.
It's a sweet story for the CBS Morning News.
We love the story, and we love the CBS
The story
Morning
was
News.
wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
a sweet
Yeah, we would
story.
never say a thing bad about the CBS Morning
It's a
News.
sweet story.
Stalwarts of journalism.
They do.
Journalism.
There's one guy there, and I don't remember his name, but he does the sweet stories, and I like watching them. Okay, they're sweet.
Hey,
stories.
you're a pretty sweet story to me.
December 9th. December 9th.
Ryan's always here. That's
He's
what
always
he said.
That's the thing you need to know.
He's
about
always
him.
with us. He's getting the Great Commission over there.
All right, December 9th, 2017, at the Shrine Auditorium, and then they opened it up to the rest of us on December 15th, 2017, and it went a little something like this. Snoke is back on his BS, everybody. He's trying to... Thank you. He's trying to seize military control of the galaxy while Leia thinks that they have a chance to fight back, especially if Brother Luke returns. Who can really say for sure? I'm sure it'll all turn out fine. Poe is just like, wait. Poe is like, wait, what? Why wait? Oh, Poe is like, why wait for Luke? Let's get out there ourselves. So he goes out there. He tries to launch a counter-strike against the First Order. Leia's not having it. She tells him to disengage. He does not disengage. And with the help of some others, he's able to destroy a First Order dreadnought and gets out of there via hyperspeed. Snoke, not pleased by this. Meanwhile, Rey hands Luke his lightsaber, which he looks at and then promptly throws it over his shoulder down the mountain. He's like, I'm not coming. There's nothing you can do about it. Did you think I was just going to come back and magically save the day? It's not going to happen. But Rey doesn't give up. She just follows Luke around the island for a while until Rey ends up feeling the Force draw her to this cave with books, the original Jedi text. And it's at this point that Luke realizes that Rey may be special. Poe gets back to the base. Leia is still very upset with him, and it goes from bad to worse because the First Order has tracked them down through hyperspeed. Leia orders Poe and the others to get back out there and fight them off. Kylo Ren, feeling the pressure from Snoke, is out there leading this attack, piloting his own ship. He's about to blow their ship up when he realizes that his mom is on board, and he hesitates for just a second, and that's long enough for another one of the pilots to come in and shoot, which causes an explosion, which sends Leia flying out into space. She is, we think that she's dead, but she's not. She uses the Force to get herself back to the ship where the crew works to save her. Luke continues to say nah to Rey until R2-D2 shows up and convinces him to train Rey. But he's not happy about it, and he tells her that this training is just to show her why the Jedi needs to end. Finn is bebopping around when he bumps into a mechanic named Rose, and they figure out that there's a tracking device, where the tracking device must be, how they were able to find them, and Finn knows how to get them there. And so they take the plane to Poe, and he says, let's go for it. Back on the island, Rey and Kylo Ren begin communicating via the Force. The chat is cut short when Luke takes her away to give her her first lesson. He attempts to teach her how to feel the Force and to control it. Rey is able to see visions and small pebbles begin to float. She did it. However, she then sees a vision of herself being pulled towards a dark pit. Luke yells at her, telling her to resist it. She does not. Suddenly, water snaps Rey out of the vision, and Luke says that she saw the dark side of the Force, and she didn't even try to stop herself. He's very disappointed in her, and he has seen this raw power once before, and it did not end well. Luke explains to her that the last time that he saw Kylo Ren, young Ben, as we like to call him around here, YB, he was his student, and he took him to train him in the Force, but Kylo ended up giving way to the dark side, and they attempted to kill Luke by having a hut collapse on top of him. She tells Luke that he didn't really give him a chance. Kylo Ren maybe there was something to him, and that Luke didn't fail Kylo Ren failed him. As Rey and Kylo continued to connect via the Force, Kylo tells Rey that Luke saw the power growing in Kylo and had attempted to get rid of him before he got stronger, and that's ultimately what happens. There's this whole journey that takes place with Finn and Rose. They go to this casino. There's this giant cat things. They meet a guy named DJ who overhears that they're in need of a code breaker, and he's like, I can do that. Rey has another conversation with Kylo, and he tells her that everything that Luke has told her about him is not true. He made the cut collapse because he woke up from his slumber and saw Luke holding a lightsaber on top of him, so he did it to protect himself. They reach their hands out and they touch hands, Neil Diamond style, Sweet Caroline. Luke senses this and puts a stop to it. Rey confronts Luke over what Kylo told him. They fight a bit, and then he explains that he could sense that there was nothing but darkness within Kylo, and he did consider killing him, but backed out of it, only for Kylo to see him with his lightsaber still drawn and assume that he was indeed going to kill him. So yeah, it did kind of happen the way that he said it did. Rey tells him that she could see that all hope is not lost when they touched hands. She's not going to give up on him. Luke is frustrated by this and is met by Yoda. The ghost of Yoda keeps me away. He yells at Yoda that he's going to go to destroy the Jedi text, and Yoda's like, one step ahead of you, cowboy. And he lights that whole thing on fire, and he tells Luke to help Rey. Rey arrives on the same ship as Kylo Ren and is immediately taken prisoner. Rey tries to get Kylo to abandon the dark side, but he is like, it is you that is going to abandon and come over to the dark side. Kylo then brings Rey to Snoke, who once again is back on his BS. Holdo, who is now in charge while Leia is recovering, starts to put a plan in motion to evacuate. Poe believes that she is up to something, and he attempts to stage a mutiny. And before his plans can go into effect, Leia appears. She's back. She wakes up, and Leia allows the plan to evacuate and all that to go as planned, while Holdo stays back just in case. Snoke reveals that he created the connection between Rey and Kylo in an attempt to destroy Luke. He begins to use the Force on her to get her to spill the beans about Luke. Finn, Rose, and DJ, they make it to the First Order ship. They are captured, and DJ immediately comes clean about their plan in order to save himself and make some money along the way. Snoke attempts to get Kylo to kill Rey with his lightsaber, but Kylo ends up using Luke's lightsaber to impale Snoke and cut him in half. Rey and Kylo then team up to fight Snoke's Red boys. But don't, hey, listen, but don't get it twisted. Kylo is not given in to the light. He says it is time to let the old things die, and he invites Rey to join him in the dark side. He even brings up how he knows the truth about her parents, and he knows that she knows it too. They were junk traders that sold her off, hoping that that this would cause Rey to give into the dark side, but eventually she leaves. While all this is happening, Holdo sacrifices herself to give the Resistance time to get away. This allows Finn and Rose to escape right as they are about to be killed. Kylo Ren is like, I'm the captain now! And he orders a gigantic walkers to go to the Resistance HQ, as we're calling it. Poe leads Finn, Rose, and a few others to fight back. Rey and Chewie come down with the Millennium Falcon to help things, and that makes Kylo really mad. Finn is about to sacrifice himself, but Rose crashes her ship into his to stop him. Finn goes to ask her why she did it, and she tells him to always fight for what you love, and she not do things because you're angry, but I'll do the things because of what you love. They kiss small ones.
Very small ones.
And then they pass out.
She's not they, she.
Yes, yeah. And then she passes out.
That's right. He does not pass out.
He does not. It's not. Which it's just good that it happened finally.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Tough to kiss big ones when you're about to pass out.
That's exactly right. It's not looking good. Leia's feeling a bit defeated. Suddenly, Luke arrives, looking awesome with a silhouette. They chat for a bit, and then he goes to take care of business. Luke goes out to face the First Order by himself. Kylo orders that they use every blaster that they can on him. And what do? They use every blaster they can on him. And when the smoke clears, Luke is there, unfazed.
I know.
Luke Skywalker lives, unfazed by Kylo's blasters. I'm I'm still standing. There's another one.
There's another one.
Poe sees this and realizes that Luke is Poe sees this and realizes that Luke is distracting the baddies to allow them time to escape. But their escape is blocked by rocks. Luckily, Rey shows up and clears the rocks with the Force and gets them free. Kylo goes down to face Luke himself. They duel with some lightsabers, and Kylo attempts to strike Luke with his lightsaber, goes right through him, and he realizes that Luke is a hologram. He's still on the island, baby. Luke tells Kylo that he will not be the last Jedi. He vanishes, and we see him back on the island, and he finally vanishes for real, to become one with the Force. Rey tells Leia that she can sense that Luke is now gone. Oh, that's the end of the music. And asks what will become of the Resistance now, and Leia tells her that they have to rebuild. And the movie ends when we see some kids that are telling the stories of the Skywalkers and seeing hope in the sky above them. And that, my friends, was the Star Wars
Episode 8,
and
The Last
Jedi.
Jedi, colon. Forgot the colon.
I forgot the colon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you're
take
the
a
one
break.
that normally does
I'm gonna
it.
take a break. I'm gonna take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll
Reset.
break this.
We'll reset.
break it down here on Deck the
the
Hallmark. That might have been like the first time the music's run out, not because of a bit. Yeah,
That's right.
It's run out
I mean,
before
a
because of a
very
bit.
small I Know My Redeemer Lives, but
Yeah.
that was a long synopsis.
A lot is
happening.
Well done, by the way.
Yeah,
Lots
really
happening.
good. The Red
A lot
Boys
happening.
especially.
The Red Boys.
Yeah.
He's back on his
Snoke's
BS.
back on his BS.
I don't know
That
what
was
to
good
say.
stuff,
I don't know what to
especially
say.
the first time.
Yeah.
I got a good chuckle. Yeah.
You think I was kind of forcing
The
a little bit with
second
the second
time you went back to the well one too many.
Forcing It Awakens, am I right?
Force
Yeah.
Awakens, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for the hot take. It's where we share our thoughts on this here movie. I'm gonna start with you, Rye Guy. What'd you think? Last Jedi.
I want to preface this for the audience, but especially for Dan, that I like Rian Johnson.
Oh, boy. Here we
Knives
go.
Out, good stuff.
Knives Out's
the
amazing.
sequel, pretty good. I like Rian Johnson. I can't wait for Knives Out 3. And I also, so I'll loop back, or looper back to that.
You'll loop her back around. You get it?
So hold that thought for a second. Here's what I want to say, because, well, no, because the premise of this is that we're three Hallmark dweebs. None of us are diehard Star Wars fans. We all like it just fine, and, we're reviewing these films, right? So who am I to tell a diehard Star Wars fan for that this is sacred text, they love it with all their hearts? Who am I to tell them that Luke Skywalker wouldn't throw away a lightsaber, wouldn't try to murder his nephew? If you care about Star Wars and Luke Skywalker is, for all intents and purposes, a real person in your life, and you've waited decades to see him back on screen in a meaningful way, I understand why you would be upset. Now, those things don't upset me. I just watch them as a movie, right? Like, it's the character's motivations. But I can understand, because there was discourse about Star Wars, obviously, before The Last Jedi. But as best I understand it, someone who's, mostly on the outside looking in, the divisiveness that Dan has talked about a lot over the weeks that we've been doing this really started with The Last Jedi.
The
and with
Star Wars bros hate The Last Jedi. They hate it. Yeah.
And I think specifically they hate the Luke stuff. Now, I will say, as someone, again, who likes Rian Johnson just fine, I have no issue with the Luke stuff, as I said, and I think Mark Hamill, I don't want this to get lost, does a great job in this movie. It's a really great performance. Now, what I will tell you is that the casino stuff, that sucks. And the Finn and Rose stuff, although well-intentioned, and I understand the purpose that it had to the overall plot, Brand just did like a 37-minute synopsis, and I feel like a lot of it could have just been on the cutting room floor. We want to see
My
Finn.
synopsis?
Yeah.
No.
That's what he said.
That's
what you
he
said. You
said.
said
Those are
most of
words.
my
No, you're a
synopsis
sweet
His lips to
story.
God's
Remember
ears.
that? You're
Yeah.
a sweet story.
Don't try to bring it back. You know what you did? You trashed my sweet story, and you said my
trashed how you
synopsis
brought
is
it up.
trash.
No, that's revisionist history. Listen,
Well, take it to the tape.
it's a lot of that Finn Rose stuff to me just feels like filler that should be on one of the Disney Plus shows. I get the and there's this like episode 1 is all about like currency trade and like there's so much light speed mumbo jumbo in this movie. Like it wasn't for me. We want to see Finn with Poe. We want to see Finn with Rey. Dan, your point last week was well taken that that's not necessarily how these Star Wars movies operate just in general, but like there's none of that. They introduced several new characters, none of which personally for me really hit. That stuff was a snooze. To that point, Adam Driver, he's great. But like, do
it again.
Adam Driver, musical guest.
It sounds like yeah.
LFO. I get that Kylo Ren or young Ben is supposed to be conflicted, and maybe this is me looking ahead to Rise of Skywalker, but really what the Kylo Ren stuff feels like to me is several different writers writing several different motivations for Kylo Ren, and none of them consulting with one another before we actually take any of it to film every single time. It's very hard to keep track of, and his motivations are just murky, but like not like in a way that I think they were trying to plot, just confusing for the audience. A lot of puzzling decisions all the way around in this, but I will say, on the plus side, I like Rian Johnson, and that the Red Room is the best action set piece in Star Wars history
good.
by far. It looks amazing. The action is amazing. And whether or not, and for me, again, I'm fine with it.
And you like Rian Johnson.
Well, he's cool. Knives Out 3, can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Knives Out 3. But the Luke stuff in Act 3 is great. Like, you know, whether or not they should have killed Luke, I think that's open to interpretation. And again, maybe you didn't like how they were plotting him to that point, but that 15 minutes or so is great. Overall, great high points, but too long, much like my review right here, and too convoluted for my liking. I can give you my rankings if you want.
I would love to hear your rankings, right, guy?
Dan, you're not going to like these.
I know.
I got to tell you real quick to pull the curtain back. I thought about changing these just because I knew you were going to yell at me. But ultimately, the audience expects me to be authentic.
That's right.
So
You better be authentic, right, guy? Don't change for me. Don't do it.
1, Force Awakens. 2, Empire Strikes Back. 3, Revenge of the Sith. Dan, buckle up. 4, Phantom Menace. 5, Return of the Jedi. 6, The Last Jedi. 7, Rogue One. 8, New Hope. 9, Attack of the Clones. Rian Johnson, happy Thanksgiving. Come on over for Let's Pot a Parade.
You should have changed them for me.
Wait, where did you have this one?
He has it third to last.
I had it 6. No, I had it 4th to last.
Oh, you have it just ahead of Rogue One.
Just ahead of Rogue One.
Wow.
That movie didn't age well for me since last week. Yeah.
Last week. And it didn't age well last week either.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. The bottom 3 are Rogue One, New Hope, Attack of the Clones.
God.
I'll be a bit.
You got to be effing kidding me.
Rian Johnson, though, cool guy and cool first name. The I is a little unconventional, but
Right,
you know,
yeah, the I
How
really
excited
throws
are you
me
about
for a loop.
Knives Out 3 on a scale of 1 to 10, just to help?
Oh, I mean, like at least an 8.
On the day we're recording this, Poker Face Season 2 released today.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's
Great.
Rian Johnson as well, by the way.
Yeah.
BT Dubs.
You like them.
I still haven't seen Looper, but I hear it's good.
Looper's amazing.
All right, I own it on digital video disc.
Ozymandias from Breaking Bad, the most popular episode in Breaking Bad history.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight after Conclave. That's a logical double
Conclave,
feature, right?
Ozymandias is
That's
the
a big
back-to-back
day.
that everyone's clamoring for. Yeah.
That's a big day. That's a good back-to-back. All right, I'm going to make mine shorter. I am more on the outskirts than even Ryan is. I don't know much about the online discourse between the people that love Star Wars. And even some of this, I was asking Dan for clarification while we were watching
This was news to you as you were watching
It was news to me that people were bothered by by the way Luke Skywalker acted in this movie. Not his acting skills, which actually he's learned how to do since the original.
Yes.
Really great in this movie. So I didn't know any of that, and I don't really care. I had a real good time with this movie. It is a ton of fun. I do agree it's skosh on the long side, and if I was going to cut something out, I'd cut out the casino stuff just out of necessity. Even though I wasn't bored during it, it did feel like it didn't quite need all of that in there. But aside from that, I had a great time with this. And you're right, the fight in the Red Room. Are you kidding me right now? When Snoke ends up getting cut in half, phenomenal. And
They bring back the line from Force Awakens. I know what I have to do now.
And not only is the action really good, but this movie is also pretty dang funny. There's a lot of little funny things that happen in this movie that are supposed to be funny. And so, yeah, I don't know what's not to like about this, to be honest. I don't get all the hubbubs about it. I don't get it. So yeah, I can't give you a ranking, but I will, by the last one, have it all down. I will go
why
back.
am I painting myself to rank these every week and get ridiculed? If you
Well, I need to go back and really get it.
You're not going to rank yours.
You got to pray about it?
I like this one less than Rogue One and more than the 7th one, which is called
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. I like this one more than Force Awakens, less than Rogue One. And then whatever my other one was.
Put it in there.
Previous
Shuffle it in
6.
there. That's how rankings work.
It
just goes in there.
I will go back and I will check out my original ranking, and then I will have it done for sure by the last one.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak out of school about my thoughts.
Can't wait for 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's going to be
Bro.
awesome. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
This is my favorite Star Wars movie that's ever been made.
Wow.
This is not the best Star Wars movie that's ever been made. That is Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is perfect, not a frame to correct. This is my favorite. Rogue One, a little tighter than this movie, pretty meaningful. This is my favorite Star Wars movie. The first time I saw this movie, I did not know what to think about it at all. But over subsequent viewings and watching it over the years and thinking about it, this is a Star Wars nerd, Ryan Johnson, who adores this franchise and grew up with this franchise, is older than me. I grew up with it on the tail end. I was born after Return of the Jedi was released, but watched those movies religiously in my house growing up. This is Ryan Johnson getting one big swing at a $300 million movie, and he has decided the most important thing is twofold. It's one, to tell everyone his age that these movies are no longer for them, and two, to give the movie that he got as an 8-9-year-old kid to every 8-9-year-old kid out there. And he crushes it. He sticks the landing. He sticks the landing at the casino. He sticks the landing in the Red Room. He sticks the landing in the opening scene that is a played for laughs prank call. He sticks the landing from stem to stern, from start to finish. His thesis for this movie is Star Wars should be for everybody. If you had told me that when I was 5 years old, if you had told me that there's going to be a movie that's canon, that's Star Wars canon, where Yoda literally burns down the Jedi Temple, I would have said, what weird alternate universe are we living in? But what Ryan Johnson posits in this movie is that the original Star Wars movie was about people of privilege. Even it was a privilege to be a Jedi. That entire casino trip is about what happens when privileged people amass wealth and amass fortune and amass notoriety and reputation to separate themselves from lesser thans and subjugate those lesser thans. There's a movie called Into the Spider-Verse. It's about Miles Morales as Spider-Man. It is about a person of color Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, a different Spider-Man for everyone. At the end of that movie, which I adore, and when I watch with my kids, at the end of that movie, Miles Morales says in narration, anyone can wear the mask. You can wear the mask. And my kids, the look in their eyes when they hear they can wear the mask matters, because they now believe that they can be Spider-Man. When I grew up, Jedis were either aliens or white guys. That's who they were. And this movie posits that Jedis don't belong to a bloodline. They aren't special. They aren't privileged. They aren't chosen. The guy telling the story, the kid telling the story in the orphanage where they're working every day can wear the mask. The kid who cares about Star Wars now and cares about playing lightsabers now and buying action figures now is more important than the 48-year-old guy and what happens to Luke. Ryan Johnson had a chance to make a Star Wars movie, and he made it for the future instead of the past, and he absolutely effing crushes it. And yeah, Empire Strikes Back is a better movie, but I know that my kids have changed me on this. This is my favorite Star Wars movie, and you can't tell me otherwise. Well done, Rian Johnson. Great job, Last Jedi.
Well, how do you feel about yourself, Ryan?
Well, I mean, I mean, that was no, all hyperbole aside. That was awesome. That Dan, I was then like, so, but that's I appreciate that lens, and Brand, stop trying to guilt me into things. But no, that was I appreciate that point of view, and I think that's great.
Well, I wasn't trying to make anybody feel bad about their opinion of the movie, but I will say this movie does is incredibly special, and also it made me angry that I didn't. If Force Awakens is a nostalgia bomb, and this movie is for the new generation, why didn't my nostalgia bomb include Luke, Han, and Leia together for one single solitary scene? So this movie does make me mad at Force Awakens, irrationally mad at Force Awakens. It does.
I will also say, Dan, because I forgot to mention this up top, and is that this is the only one of the new trilogy that I've seen multiple times. I've seen it the most, and I actually like it a little less with each viewing, and the reason is because, and again, we're jumping ahead, and you mentioned this last week, Rise of Skywalker doesn't follow up on any of this, right?
Yeah.
So I do think that if we're just looking at it strictly from a plotting and story standpoint, Last Jedi is this weird albatross, because a lot of stuff from Force Awakens doesn't connect into it.
Correct.
And nothing they set up in Last Jedi connects out to Rise of Skywalker.
That is 100% accurate. It's weird, in my opinion, to blame the middle chapter when, if Rian Johnson had been allowed to direct the last one, I think it would be hailed as a masterpiece. I think he could have connected all the dots and made everyone happy. But instead we get J.J. Abrams riding in on his steed to basically make fanboys happy in a movie that he even has no passion for. And I don't think we can blame someone trying to make a Star Wars for the next generation for that. But you're not wrong, Ryan. This movie does look like an albatross after Rise of Skywalker comes out. Now, an albatross of good? Maybe, but the Rise of Skywalker is a mess of a situation, and this movie does look like it doesn't belong. And I think Rian Johnson set out to make a movie where all the leads don't look like they would belong necessarily in some other big hero movies. And I think that matters. And Rian Johnson was supposed to get his own trilogy of movies. Did you know this?
Right. Yeah, I knew.
He was supposed to get his own Star Wars trilogy, but then after the backlash of this movie, not the critical reviews, they were like, absolutely not. We've got to save our $1 trillion franchise. Let's go back to the hits. And that makes me sad. Also not surprising. So there's that.
Real quick, Brian, sorry, I know we're long, but Dan, where do you land on the Luke motivations of it all? Like, just like,
So what I love about this is that, Rose's character gets to deliver the line, the way we win is not by destroying the things we hate. It's by saving the things we love. And I think that's the premise of the film. And also I do want to sidetrack. I know we're way off the map here, but the only movie that George Lucas has praised of the movies that have been made since he's left is this movie. He's on the record saying it's beautiful. So like in the original, in the spirit of the resurrection, in the spirit of these movies, this one does the thing it's supposed to do. And if you look at Obi-Wan's motivations in A New Hope, I think Luke's motivations make a lot of sense. Obi-Wan is questioning why he trained Darth Vader to begin with. And he knows the only way to make up for the fact that he trained a monster is to sacrifice himself and showcase how to defeat the monster. And I think Luke's motivations mirror Obi-Wan's in a very beautiful way, and it works. For me, I don't look. The ones, if I had to take back one scene in this movie, it's Luke Skywalker getting his lightsaber and throwing it over his shoulder like it's a Three Stooges film. That was maybe a bridge too far, and I can understand how that doesn't. The way that takes place doesn't track. Like if he gets angry and he's like, I don't want to see that thing or get that away from me, but he does it like it's a three camera sitcom. And I think that's Rian Johnson early on saying, beware of what's coming in this movie. But that's the one scene that bothers me. The rest of it, I actually am on board with Luke.
Can you get us back on track with the song real quick, Dan? Can you sing
any
the
song?
No, this song.
What? Oh.
The one.
Oh no, if it's my do, yup.
It's time for the feels. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it is.
Let's get to the feels.
Yeah.
Right, guy?
Yeah, the Red Room fight scene is an all-timer. Kylo's turn, Dan, you already mentioned it. The fact that they specifically play back the line right before he kills Han, and it's now interpreted the other way, is awesome. It's the best action set piece in Star Wars history for me. It looks incredible, even when there's clearly CGI fire in there by the end. It looks really great. The Red Boys. There's nothing. There's nothing to dislike there. It's
Red Boys.
It's a great action scene.
Listen, I know this isn't a comedy movie, but I would challenge anyone to find me something quite as funny as Poe
prank calling
and being like,
Hux.
I'll still hold, like I'm holding, and he's doing these speeches like, we're gonna get you, and do all this stuff. He's like, okay, I'm still here. I'm holding. Guys, comedy gold. That's just good stuff right there. And does it fit? I don't know. I don't care. That's just good. That's just good comedy right there. It made me laugh real hard. Dano?
Yeah, Red Room is great. The Red Sand, everything out there is a ton of fun. And then when Laura Dern throws the ship through basically cuts through all of those ships, that's a really neat, fun visual graphic. So all of that, and then my emotional feels was in the hot take. So there you go.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the way with the hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
It's time for the. It's time for the wait what.
Never forget.
It's time for the what. It's time for the wait what. It's where we talk about what this movie made us go wait what. I'll start with you, Rye Guy.
Yeah, Snoke looks a little better, but still pretty bad. I mean, it's like
He does look better. He does look better.
Yeah, he's got a body now, so because otherwise there would have been no way for Adam Driver to slash it. So there's that. But we won't be seeing Snoke again. So R.I.P. Not to be insensitive, and it's the most obvious one from this movie. And listen, we haven't talked about it. I was going to mention it last week with Rogue One. The news, at least as I recall it, tell me if I'm wrong on this, Dano, but as best I recall it, I believe Carrie Fisher passed like the weekend Rogue One came out. And so but it was right around the release of Rogue One.
That she had already filmed all of her scenes. I don't know that, but that sounds right. I can look it up, but that sounds right.
I remember seeing Rogue One, and either it had just happened or I found out literally like later that weekend that she had passed. And so I also had heard, Dan, that she had filmed all of her scenes for this film, which makes the Leia in slow-mo floating through space all the more puzzling.
The Mary Poppins, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't, there had to be a better solution. I mean, I just don't think it takes forever. It's like War and Peace. That wasn't for me. I feel like
at least be aware that after she died, the scene would be a little confusing to watch, right? Like, you're like, oh, well, I guess you had to,
right.
I thought when I watched they changed all this, and I just looked it up. It was 11 days after Rogue One premiered, so very close. But everyone that made the movie is insistent upon they didn't change anything, which makes it wilder.
Yeah,
that this happens.
Like, I think if you find this out and then you're like, okay, it may be confusing for people when the person who passed away dies in the movie and they're like, my first thought was, oh, well, that makes sense because she passed away, so let's work that into the script. And then they bring her on back in.
Yeah, they bring her back.
They had to at least know that it would be a little confusing for people.
That scene, the first time I saw that scene, I was like, what are we doing? I was in the theater and I was like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I do, in retrospect, like the idea that, there's all of this hint that Leia is force sensitive or whatever. And so to show that how powerful she is, they are pretty straightforward that all of these people can breathe in outer space. I don't mind that. Like, they show literally Finn and Rose, like the window, like just breathing in outer space. I don't care about that. The way that they did it seemed very like operatic at a time. I know it's a space opera, at a time where it doesn't feel like that's what is needed there. That seemed to be what they edited. It's like, if we're going to do this now that she's dead, let's do this long, like I don't
as
know.
like a tribute.
An interesting choice for
it
sure.
definitely if she hadn't passed away a year before this movie came out, I don't think I would have even blinked twice at the scene. But the fact that she did made the scene like stick out even more. And
It's
it was
probably all just random coincidence happenstance, but all of it put together
Yeah.
makes it a little puzzling. And then last one for me, it's kind of wild that Luke thought about murdering, even for a moment, his nephew, and has been in isolation for like at least a decade plus, possibly more. But Ghost Yoda only shows up now to give him a pep talk.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, and there feels like there could have been other moments where Ghost Yoda could have been helpful to Luke. But I digress.
And we're not, we don't know. Maybe Yoda did do that, but I think your wait, what is correct because Yoda literally shows up for a fun time.
Yeah.
Yoda's no longer here for sage advice. He's past that. He's here for yuck yucks.
Yum.
And that's funny.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
yup nubs, even.
I got a kick out of Rey. She's on the island now, right? And it starts to rain. And next thing you know, she has a poncho on. And I don't really know, like, did Chewie go fetch it? Go fetch the poncho. It also means like before leaving, she was like, well, we could be expecting weather. I'll go grab did they have a closet full of ponchos on the Millennium Falcon? I don't know. All I know is that at one point it starts raining. Next scene, she's in poncho. And it's just good to be protected from the elements
You got
for
to.
sure.
Yeah.
But I just wish that
One's
they
gotta be
included
close
the
to a
scene
poncho.
of Chewie being like, I can't believe I got to go get this poncho. I can't believe it. And then I understand this takes place a long time ago in a galaxy that's far away.
Far away.
So like,
that's right.
Tech's different. Technology's different.
Tech is different.
But I do love that at the end they're flying and they're talking on the headsets. And I forget even who it was. It was either Finn or Poe gets upset and throws the microphone part of the headset back, which causes the headset to stop.
To mute.
Which in every headset microphone I've ever seen, if you do this, it mutes your microphone, but you still hear these. But in the galaxy far away, a long time ago,
the Samsung Galaxy far away.
Now it's all done.
It's all gone.
It's all a mute situation. And so
it's a flip up mute situation.
It's a flip up mute. And it just doesn't seem like it would be good. Like that thing could go back at any given time because you bump. Maybe it's too big of a thing and then you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
It seems like
that's why we've advanced the tech since.
That's
That's why it was
exactly
a
right.
long time
Maybe
ago.
we should just mute the microphone but leave the earbuds still working.
Makes more
Maybe we
sense.
should.
Makes more sense.
And they've made the changes and it's just good to see how that tech has evolved over the years. Dano?
Yeah, I just have two. Number one, Luke Skywalker, who is, by all accounts, at the literal and figurative peak of being a Jedi. Like, no one is stronger than he is. He's actually on top of a mountain. He can sense and feel things literal millions of miles away. He can fight someone on a different planet. He senses virtually everything before it happens. Did not know Han Solo was dead at the hands of Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
What? What?
That might have been a miss.
That was a little bit of a miss there.
Well, it's you.
There's a little bit of a miss that Chewie shows up. He's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Where's Han? Buddy, what? You know what the weather's going to be. Like, you don't
I
like
wish he would have been like, I just thought I had bad pizza that night when I felt that. It couldn't have been true.
There's no way. He can't sense that one. That's a weird one. That,
Maybe it's one of those things where you feel it, but you don't believe it until
I'm
you
not
see
asking you to go into
Chewie,
the expanded universe or the canon for that to be consistent. I think that's a pretty easy ask across the board. And then the second one is the master code breaker can break out of prison whenever he wants, and he just doesn't.
Yeah.
And I get that, there's a reason for that, and he's swindling them. But I just don't understand. Is he like, I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to hide there until a Mark comes along? I just don't, it would have been better if they had something that would have helped him break out of. He just can he acts like he could have done it at any moment.
Yeah.
And I love Benicio del Toro, and I actually really like that character, but I don't understand why he was waiting in a jail. He could have left at any moment unless it was predestined. That's the only thing that makes sense.
You got any answers for that, Ryan?
I'm bankrupt on that one.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just hoping. I was just hoping because you're Ryan and then the director's Ryan. I understand.
I
It's
felt
but it
like
felt
maybe you would
differently.
have.
There's a
I mean, I know
there's a
you like-
YI
It's a YI
situation.
situation.
Why-
If you like Ryan
you like
Johnson,
him.
You
Knives
do,
Out
and
3.
you want that on that.
Hey, listen, guys, I like Knives Out so much. I saw the second one in theaters for that 1 week.
Dude,
it was in
the
theaters.
first-
I got a
Jealous.
Netflix account.
Can I-
I could have just watched it at home.
Can
I
I-
went to theaters.
Tell you this, and this is I'm going to do my What the Hallmark first and transition is
Hey,
right
it's time for
now.
what the hallmarks. What we wonder what could have been. Maybe I guess a clarity question we still have.
Right, guy. I believe. I honestly, this is not a joke. And I call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but
There we go.
knowing Ryan Johnson on Twitter, like knowing how he responded to people on Twitter and trolls on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter anymore, but in that heyday, I 100% was. I believe with 100% of my being that part of Knives Out is a response to Star Wars nerds.
Oh, interesting.
I believe that all of this family that believes they are entitled to this property, like this was the next thing he made afterwards. And he's like, you're not entitled to this property. You're not. You were terrible with it. You didn't like use it for what it was worth. You didn't allow others to enjoy the property. So now guess what? This person's in charge of the property. I firmly 100% I don't care if there's no evidence. I believe it. I believe it knowing who that guy is in interviews and on Twitter, and that he wrote this movie from scratch and somebody gave him money to write it. He wrote a movie that was like, hey, this is what I really think of you. I believe that with all my heart, and that's my What the Hallmark.
Wow.
Have you ever heard that before, Right Guy?
I think it's a really interesting theory. There's a lot of parallels there. I will say, I hope he makes something film-wise other than Knives Out. Like his last 3 movies are all Knives Out. Correct?
Yeah, he signed that deal with Netflix, but he makes
Oh, that's
like
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I like Knives Out too, but it's not as good as 1. I would agree with you. I think Knives Out 1 is a masterpiece. It's fantastic. So good.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think you actually. I'm sorry.
I just-
Dan very
yeah.
rudely skipped
Sorry.
you. So go ahead.
Well, no, that's
Ryan.
okay. That was Dan's What the Hallmark. It's time for Star Wars, right?
That's right.
Star,
it's time for
you're
Star
right. Force or
Wars.
Friday, if you will.
Are you going
yeah,
Star
I have
Wars
a Force
today?
and I have a Friday.
Wow.
Too much violence towards BB-8 in this one was
Man.
by whatever the negative is Enforcer Friday, right? So
We were
that's-
concerned about him
Yeah.
on multiple occasions.
Beheaded
Yeah,
numerous
I
times.
did not like that. But hey, Yoda was a puppet, so that was a
Dude,
big win.
that's
That was a
huge.
big win. Yeah.
He brings back Yoda as a puppet to strike lightning down upon the Jedi thing, which is just the best. Like, it's just like, yeah. He's like, this is how you do this.
Yeah.
This is how you do
But
But it's
Yub nub. Yub nub.
Dub.
That's really good. I am gonna go Star today.
Yeah.
Call
Just
me crazy.
today?
That's crazy.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna go Star today, and I am once again. I don't know if I said this on 2 weeks ago when they show up to the island and we see Luke for the first time. I want to give a shout out to the location scout that found that area
Yeah.
of land.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the high that you must have felt scouring islands, and then you come across that,
Yeah.
and you're just like, "This is." I mean, it's
This
already
is
got
it.
it's already got the stairs built into the grass. Are you kidding me right now? An amazing place for all of that to happen. Whether you agree with Luke's actions or not, you have to at least acknowledge. I mean, I get why he'd hang out there for
Dude,
sure.
yeah, it's
Are you
beautiful.
kidding me?
Yeah.
So shout out to that location scout. That's a hard job to, hey, go find an island somewhere that make it look friggin' awesome.
Hey, whether or not you're mad at
Yeah.
Luke for contemplating murder, at least he has a nice place to
That's
hang
right,
out.
yeah.
At least give him
Have
a
you
good
seen
view.
where he's vacationing?
Yeah, at least give him a good view, right? Make the climb easy for him.
And
You know, at least give him some weird people kind of poking
aliens,
around, keeping the island nice. It's like,
it's the least he could do.
those are real. They're real. I don't know if
real.
you know that.
It's real. That's where they
Those
live.
are a real part of
Those
the
are a real
island.
part of
Yeah.
the island. Yeah.
That's what they were looking for.
I know I already went, but I want it on the record. I'm Friday this week, and I just so if anybody's
thought you
curious,
might be.
I am Friday. Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're gonna be back next week. We're gonna do
Solo.
Solo.
Yeah.
Hello.
2 more left, and then it's time for Mission Mondays.
If you rank either of these movies ahead of Last Jedi, I'm going to come up to Connecticut.
I liked Solo in
Now,
theaters. I haven't seen it since.
I'll just say this. What's the name of the last one? The
Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I remember loving it.
Yeah. I remember you left the theater you went. I had a good time, but I know that you don't know any. Like you
I
just
don't
are like,
know anything.
yeah.
I loved it. All right. We'll be back next time with another one. Until then, it's first to wish you
Bye.
Deck the Hallmarks, the Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.